Hi, it's Cherie Johnson here, and welcome back to Beyond Placement. Thank you for those who are returning, and for those who are new, hi and welcome. We're currently on week 3, and this week we're going to be looking at your operational plans, finances, property, practical setup, budget, location, and daily operations. Again, these objectives will help us to be able to develop a financial plan and forecast, understand property standards and the search process, prepare for the day-to-day operations. So let's have a look at budgeting and financial planning. One of the key things you'll have to be clear on is understanding the financial requirements that is needed when setting up a new business, but most importantly, a children's home. This is a business that requires good financial planning, as any emergencies can come up, as you can imagine, when working with children. So first off, before you even become or even start your way of operation, you need a startup cost versus your ongoing costs. What do I mean? So what is the initial cost to get the business up and running? We're talking about property, we're talking about budget to furnish the accommodation, we're talking about paying the rent, and always take into consideration Ofsted could take up to 8 to 12 months. So always financially plan to ensure that you can run that home until Ofsted come out. You'll also have to cover things like gas and electric, internet, and also the other costs that come with setting up the provision. So particular furnitures that you might want depending on the client group that you're working with. And then you have to look at the ongoing costs. So your rent, staff, insurance, an intranet service such as ClearCare or Martis. You'll then be required to look at ongoing costs such as food shopping, activities, travel, training for staff, recruitment, agency staff, clothing, emergencies that may require you to pay for taxis, outside activities that you may need to use to ensure the young person feels settled and at home in your placement. A young person may have specific needs, so you may need to pay for therapists, counselors, or assessments. All these things need to be drafted in when you're looking at your ongoing costs. Let's take a look at the revenue model. So in other words, how are you going to get money in? How are you going to generate money to keep your business sustainable? So this is the placement fees. This is how we make our money in children's home. So you have to be able to establish your fees, what you're going to charge, why you're going to charge that, and how do you justify that fee. So looking at the industry rate and seeing whether you're going to price yourself at that price mark, slightly below or slightly above. But you need to be sure on why you're choosing your price. And you also need to be able to justify this to commissioners and stakeholders. Let's look at financial forecasting. So this is being able to foresee or plan ahead for all the above that we just spoke about. Now, this should be completed within your business plan and give you a good, clear understanding of how much is needed to run a provision safely and sufficiently, ensuring you have the good and the best staff when it comes to those working with your children, because that inevitably will make or break your service, your staffing team. Let's look at finding the property. Choosing the right home is really important. It's not just about using a friend's property, but it's ensuring that that property meets the regulatory requirements in terms of bedroom size, having an office space located. A garden, of course, would be nice, but not mandatory, but definitely encouraged when it comes to a children's home. You have to consider the location. So is it central? Is it isolated? Is it rural? How will children access health services, education, and appointments? Does your home sit in a nice location near to transport links, trains, local supermarkets, and shopping centres? Because staff will, time to time or daily, have to pop out to supermarkets for things they may need. So your location is key. And this is also determined by completing a location risk assessment. If this is something you have no clue about, please visit my website and have a look in the store. You will find a location risk assessment example. Or if you want to know more in depth how the location risk assessment works, along with searching for the right property, then please visit my website and have a look at the online learning program where you can watch a video on how to look for a property successfully and how to complete a location risk assessment. And there's a bonus in there on how to apply for planning. So visit www.cheriejohnson.co.uk for further details and visit the shop or the online school where you'll find further details. Now, most people ask the question, do I need to buy a house or can I rent? Of course you can rent, as long as the landlord understands the nature of the business and he also understands that you want to be there for a very long time, between 5 and 10 years minimum. Now, that might sound like a long time. However, you are providing a home for young people. So it's not just something that's going to serve somebody today, tomorrow, but those people or those children who leave you tomorrow should be able to walk past there in 10, 15 years and be able to have fond memories of that home and be able to pop back in and see how well the home is doing, how much it's grown, how much the ethos has grown, and how that young person who's now an adult can come in and share memories with the current staff. You want to create a home which normally has memories and legacy. If you are in a financial position to buy, why not? But please seek financial advice should you do so. Weigh up the pros and the cons and ensure that the home that you buy will or would get planning permission for that area. Now, when you are looking at a property, I don't want you to fall in love with the aesthetics because that's half of the requirements of a property that meets the regulatory requirements. You want something that is Ofsted ready for registration because you need to demonstrate to Ofsted that that home is safe, ready to go, and should they pass you on Thursday, you are ready to take a child on Friday. So make sure it's ready. A child can move in now. Make sure it's warm, it's welcoming. It offers a child a place that they feel safe and loved. And ensure that the support model reflects this too, not just the decoration and the aesthetics in the home. Let's look at our day-to-day operations. This is something most people fall short on when preparing for a children's home. They often forget the finer details that's required when opening a home. So let's have a look at some basic things, a checklist. Have you or are you ready to prepare a rota and a shift pattern? What type of pattern or rota will your home have? So for example, are you going to have 12-hour shifts where people come in and work 8 till 8? Or are you going to be a little bit more flexible and fluid with your shifts? So for example, 8 till 4, 4 to 11, 11 till 8. What will your provision offer? How will that impact the children? How will that impact your expenses? But most importantly, when Ofsted come out, they want to see a rota ready. You understand what it takes to put staff in place to manage your home, which is a 24-hour setting. Do you understand night shifts versus day shifts? And then let's look at the routines and activities for the children. What will they be doing? The children just cannot hang out. That's not what this is about. This is ensuring that the children have a routine, just like you did when you was growing up at home. Parents install routines in children so they have a clear understanding of what's required of them, and they also know what's coming. Things don't just happen to them, they're a part of the process. What does the routine look like? And before you start your home, of course, you're going to set the routine, but always remain open and flexible that once you have your first child placed in your home, you can actually rewrite or adapt that routine because it's child led. However, make sure you include the key activities such as education, exercise, reading, play, but make sure your activities are fruitful, engaging, fun. Painting. What does that mean? What will they be painting? Drawing. What does drawing mean? What will they be drawing? What types of drawing? With pencil, with chalk? Will they paint with oil paints or water-based paints? Are they painting on paper or on canvas? What will they be doing? And of course, incident management. How will you manage the incidents that pop up? Because believe me, incidents do happen. I mean, it's children. You know what they're like. Incidents happen when you're at home. But how do you manage them when you're in your business? How do the staff manage incidents? What's the process? What's the policy? Because often the policy informs you of what the process is. But remember, it's not stagnant. It's something that should be tweaked and adapted as you grow, as you have different clientele, as you experience shapes, as you have new staff coming that might be able to feed and develop that. What is your incident management process? And what is required of you? And then your health and safety maintenance. Your fire extinguishers. Are they in the right place? Do you have the right ones in? Did you get a service to install them, or was it your local mate? Because that's not okay when it comes to a children's home. Has your hard-fired wired alarm system been installed and serviced? Do you know where the fuse box is? Do you know where the water meter is? The gas meter? Do staff know where these things are? What is the maintenance process? If something is broken, when is it replaced? What is the turnover time? Who replaces it? How is it replaced? Are you always going to go for insurance? Or are you going to put money aside that when things need replaced, you can dip into that pot? How are you going to manage the day-to-day health and safety in the home? How often do you expect staff to check the fire alarms? Monthly, weekly, or daily? Who's in charge of health and safety? Who ensures that the equipment has been PAT tested? Who ensures the fire exit is always in good condition and no items are obstructing? Who ensures that the windows are in good condition? And who ensures that the fire doors are in good working order and all strips and seals are in place? These are the things that you have to think about. If a window's broken, what company will you use to replace that window? Because having a window boarded up for several weeks is not okay. It's really not. How do you manage the safety aspect in your organization? How often do you cut the grass? Partnering through support. Listen, I'm going to come with that saying, no man is an island. You really, really, is that how it goes? Correct me in the comments if I got that wrong. But you really, really need to operate within a network. Operating in silo in this industry is going to become very difficult. You're going to feel isolated. You are going to feel stuck, and you're not going to feel enthusiastic about going to work. You don't need to do it alone. Build relationships with local authorities. They're your best friends. They're the ones who can tell you, guide you, advise you, as well as they're keeping an eye on you. But it's a working relationship. Build a relationship that, should there be an issue, they feel confident to address you, knowing that you're going to put into place an action to address anything they raise with you. Network with other providers. Hello, you don't need to be alone. Like, people in the same industry get the same pain points and they get it. So while others think you're isolating yourself and you're always busy, those who are other providers get it because they know the nature of the business. You are a 24-hour provider. You need to be tapped in. Identify professional services that are going to help you as a business, but most importantly, can also help your clients should they come along with specific needs. So, legal team, identify a good solicitor who can perform for you, a good lawyer, but also you want those to be available for your service users should they require any legal representation. Yes, of course, social services might lead or suggest, but some and plenty social workers are very open often to using another legal service, especially if that home has a good relationship with them. HR, build a relationship with a HR company or service. Gone are the days when you need to have a big HR team built into your business. You can subcontract it out to a HR company, or you can employ one person who has vast experience in this area and they can help you. And finances. You want somebody who can advise you, support you with your finances, a good accountant who is contactable, reliant, sufficient, transparent, and operates within the legal framework as required. I want you to reflect and share. What is your biggest financial unknown? What makes you nervous? Why do you think you might have some hurdles due to finances? How can you rectify them? If you've been busting your brain thinking you need to buy a property for this business, stop busting it now, please. I'm letting you know you don't have to. My first children's home was rented. Okay? Rented, not owned. Rented. And the landlord knew and he understood exactly what my vision was. And from then, we've been working in synergy. What does your ideal property look like? And I always say this to people. When I was thinking of my first home, I visualized the home. I could smell it. I knew what plugins I wanted to put in there. I knew what room I wanted the plugins to go in. I could visualize it. I basically had it. I needed to just make it a reality. And I always say this to people. If you're really passionate and it's something you want to do now, every time you visit IKEA and you see those white plates for like 75p or 55p, and you see those knife and fork sets, and you see those single glass drinking glasses or those kids' plastic cups, or you see the mugs that's been reduced, or you've seen that sofa that's reduced, or that chest of drawer, go and get it, put it down, store it, and start to build the home that you visualize and bring it into reality. And how will you ensure a calm, structured daily routine? Kids need peace and tranquility, not chaos, especially those who have come from a traumatic background and you just want them to have a smooth transition. How will you ensure that your environment is calm, structured, and the routine is very clear? Staff know what you expect and they deliver because they understand the vision and the mission. So as we come to a close, I want to leave you a few tasks. These things help to generate the thought process. bring things alive, bring you to the place of where you can see your home coming together. This week's task, I want you to draft a basic budget. Startup plus monthly. Okay? Your startup costs plus your ongoing costs. Make a checklist for your ideal property. Just go to my website, watch the video about property search. It is so detailed. I literally walk you through how to look for properties on Rightmove and Zoopla. I walk you through. I even show you floor plans of properties that work and floor plans of properties that don't work. I then go in on how to apply for planning permission with a template. Also in that is a location flood risk assessment and a location risk assessment. So that's quite a lot in one video. You won't regret it. And you also get a handbook with the video. So once you sign up to watch the video, you download a digital guide and it will help you through the video. It's really worth watching. And then sketch your ideal daily rota. So just to make it more specific, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. Put together a rota for 1 week, Monday to Sunday. And also matching that, put a staff rota to reflect that. Remember, your children's home needs to be staffed 24 hours a day, right? 24 hours a day, no gaps. Take into account staff need to do handover. And then build me a rota. Okay, so you're nearly there. You're nearly there. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause. This is week 3. And for those who missed week 2 and week 1, I am going to upload those shortly. So bear with me. You've laid the foundation for your children's home. And by being here, watching this video, you've taken a big step and you've laid the biggest stone. Stay active in the group. If you're in my WhatsApp group, stay active. Talk, share your thoughts, ask questions. That's what it's for. And for those who are not in the WhatsApp group, if you visit my website, Cherie, www.cherie, Cherie, Johnson, JOHNSON.co.uk, you will find the WhatsApp banner on my homepage where you can join the WhatsApp group and you can ask any questions should you require. I'm really at your disposal. Share your wins. Any small achievement you've got, share it in a group. We need to cheer for you. We need to keep you going. We need to ensure that we fill each other's cup up when it becomes empty. And I like hearing people's wins. I mean, I want everybody to win. Why not? The more good homes we have, it ensures that children in our society have a smooth childhood. So I'm down for everybody winning. And last but not least, like I said, this can be lonely. It really can. Support each other. Support your friend. Check in. If somebody else has an idea, share it. Hear them out. Guide them. Support them. Be that listening ear, because this is hard. A 24-hour business takes a lot of commitment, not just in time, but most importantly from the heart. So if anybody in the group needs propping up or anyone around you is thinking of the same business, align yourself with them and work together. You don't need to work against each other. There's enough children in society for us to provide amazing homes for. And I really just want to thank you so much for giving me your 20 odd minutes of your time, because time really is precious. There is no monetary value you can put on it. So I hope the time I've taken out to give you this information, it's fruitful. It's been worth your time, but it's also something that you can go back to and keep referring to. Just remember this, you're one step closer to your goal. So don't forget to join me next week where we look at finances, property, and practical setup. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, you can either send me a DM on Instagram, which is Johnson28, send me an email at info@cheriejohnson.co.uk, or visit my website at www.cheriejohnson.co.uk and send me a message or join the WhatsApp group. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourselves now and keep pushing.